This is Savita Valsang and welcome to my channel Statistics Made Simple. In this video, I'll solve problems based on skewness using Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness and Bowley's coefficient of skewness. Problem 1. The mean and mode of the weekly wages of workers are Rs 45 and Rs 36 respectively. If the standard deviation is Rs 18, find the coefficient of skewness. Since the mean, mode and standard deviation are given, we have to make use of Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness. Starting with the solution, first list down the values which are given, that is x bar is equal to 45, z is equal to 36 and sigma is equal to 18. Then write Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness as the side heading. Then the formula, consider S equal to x bar minus z divided by sigma, which is equal to 45 minus 36 divided by 18, which is equal to 9 by 18. Therefore, get S is equal to 0.5. For a 2-mark problem, this problem is a 2-marker, we need not write the conclusion. But because the value is positive, the distribution is said to be positively skewed. Problem 2. Calculate Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness if the mean is equal to 23, median is equal to 25 and standard deviation equal to 10. Now if you observe carefully, the mean, median and standard deviation are given. So we have to make use of Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness formula when the mode is ill-defined. First list down the values given. So under solution, given x bar equal to 23, m equal to 25 and sigma equal to 10. Then write the side heading Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness when mode is ill-defined. Consider S equal to, the formula is 3 into x bar minus m divided by sigma, which is equal to 3 into 23 minus 25 by 10, which is equal to 3 into minus 2 divided by 10, which is equal to minus 6 by 10, or S is equal to minus 0.6. Even this problem is a 2-marker and the conclusion is not required, but the distribution will be negatively skewed because we have got a negative value for skewness. Problem 3. In a distribution, the sum of the upper and lower quartiles is 40 and their difference is 16. If the median is 18, then find the coefficient of skewness. So since the problem is given in terms of quartiles, the coefficient of skewness which we have to use would be Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So under solution, write given. So the sum of the upper and lower quartiles is 40 means Q3 plus Q1 is equal to 40. So Q3 is the upper quartile and Q1 is the lower quartile. And their difference is 16. So Q3 minus Q1 is equal to 16 and M is equal to 18. Then write Bowley's coefficient of skewness. The formula is consider S equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2M divided by Q3 minus Q1, which is equal to 40 minus 2 into 18 divided by 16, which is equal to 40 minus 36 by 16, which is 4 by 16. Or you get S is equal to 0.25. For a distribution, Bowley's coefficient of skewness is minus 0.36. The lower quartile is 8.6 and the median is 12.3. Find the third quartile. Starting with the solution, write given S is equal to minus 0.36. Then Q1, that is the lower quartile, is 8.6 and the median, so M is equal to 12.3. Now write the formula for Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So consider S equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2M divided by Q3 minus Q1. Substituting all the values which we know, we get minus 0.36 is equal to Q3 plus 8.6 minus 2 into 12.3 divided by Q3 minus 8.6. Then you have to cross multiply. So you'll get minus 0.36 into Q3 minus 8.6 is equal to Q3 plus 8.6 minus 2 into 12.3. On simplification, you get minus 0.36 Q3 plus 3.096 equal to Q3 plus 8.6 minus 24.6, which implies minus 0.36 Q3 plus 3.096 is equal to Q3 minus 16. Grouping the Q3 terms on one side and the constant terms on the other side, we get minus 0.36 Q3 minus Q3 is equal to minus 16 minus 3.096, or minus 1.36 Q3 is equal to minus 19.096, or Q3 is equal to 19.096 divided by 1.36. So you get the third quartile, that is Q3 equal to 14.04. Problem 5. Calculate Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness from the following data. The data given is discrete data. The x values are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. The corresponding frequencies are 4, 7, 9, 18, 15, 10 and 5. So calculating, we get capital N equal to 68. Now Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness is S equal to mean, that is x bar, minus mode, that is z, divided by standard deviation, which is sigma. So the columns which we require in the table would be fx and fx square. So we'll find out the fx values. You'll get 24, 84, 162, 432, 450, 360, 210. So summation fx is 1722. Fx square is 144, 1008, 2916, 10,368, 13,500, 12,960, 8,820, and summation fx square is equal to 49,716. Solution. First, write the formula for Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness, that is, consider S equal to x bar minus z divided by sigma. So now we need to calculate the mean, mode and standard deviation for discrete data. So we have to use the appropriate formulae. Starting with the mean, write the formula for mean for discrete data. So consider x bar equal to summation fx by capital N, which is equal to 1722 divided by 68. So you get x bar equal to 25.32. It is sufficient to take two places after the decimals for x bar, sigma and z after rounding off. Next, we have to find out the mode. So how do we find out the mode for discrete data? We have to find out the maximum frequency. So in the table, the maximum frequency I have highlighted in bold, that is 18. And now look at the corresponding x value, which is highlighted in purple color, that is 24. So therefore z is equal to 24. Now we have to find out standard deviation. So the formula for standard deviation for discrete data is sigma equal to root of summation fx squared by n minus summation fx by n the whole square, which is equal to root of 49,716 by 68 minus 85.32 the whole square, which is equal to root of 731.1176 minus 641.1024, which is equal to root of 90.0152, or you get sigma equal to 9.49. Now substituting the values of x bar, z and sigma in S, we get therefore S is equal to 25.32 minus 24 divided by 9.49, or S is equal to 0.1391. So we can take 4 places after the decimal for coefficient of skewness. And now since this would be a 10 marker, we have to also write the conclusion. Now because we have got a positive value for the coefficient of skewness, it means that the given distribution is positively skewed. So let us write the conclusion in a proper format. So write since S is equal to 0.1391, which is greater than 0, the given distribution is positively skewed. Problem 5. Calculate Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness from the following data. This problem would be a 10 marker. They have given a continuous set of data. So the class intervals are 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49 and 50 to 59. The corresponding frequencies are 4, 5, 12, 7, 4. And the next step is to find out capital N, which is equal to 36. So remember that for Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness, we need to find out the mean, then we need the mode, and we need the standard deviation. And also observe whether any of the frequencies are repeating, because if the mode is ill-defined, then you have to use a different formula for Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness. Now, since the class intervals are inclusive, you have to convert them to the exclusive format. So the next column is modified class interval 9.5 to 19.5, 19.5 to 29.5, 29.5 to 39.5, 39.5 to 49.5 and 49.5 to 59.5. Then find out the midpoints, which are denoted by X, which is 14.5, 24.5, 34.5, 44.5 and 54.5. The other two columns we require are fx and fx square. So fx values are 58, 122.5, 414, 311.5, 218. So summation fx is 1124. Fx square values are 841, 3001.25, 14,283, 13,861.75, 11,881, which gives summation fx square equal to 43,868. Start with the solution and be careful with all the calculations. Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness is considered S equal to x bar minus z divided by sigma. Let us calculate the mean. Consider x bar equal to summation fx by capital N, which is equal to 1124 divided by 36. So you get x bar equal to 31.22. Next, we have to find out the mode. So to find out the mode for continuous data, the first step is to find out the maximum frequency. So the maximum frequency is 12, and look at the corresponding class interval, and that's called as the modal class, which is 29.5 to 39.5. Then write the formula for the mode for continuous data. So consider z equal to L plus f1 minus f0 into h divided by 2 f1 minus f0 minus f2. Now all the values are highlighted in different colors in the previous table. So you have L equal to 29.5, that is the lower limit of the modal class. F0 is 5, F1 is 12, F2 is 7 and H is 10. Substituting, we get Z equal to 29.5 plus 12 minus 5 into 10 divided by 2 into 12 minus 5 minus 7, which is equal to 29.5 plus 70 divided by 12, which is equal to 29.5 plus 5.83, or you get Z equal to 35.33. Next calculation is for the standard deviation. So consider sigma equal to root of summation fx square by capital N minus summation fx by n the whole square. which is equal to root of 43,868 by 36 minus 31.22 the whole square, which is equal to root of 1218.56 minus 974.6884, which is equal to root of 243.8716, or sigma is equal to 15.62. Now substituting all these values in the coefficient of skewness, we get S equal to 31.22 minus 35.33 divided by 15.62. So you get S equal to minus 0.2631. The conclusion, since S is equal to minus 0.2631 is less than 0, the given distribution is negatively skewed. 6. Calculate Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness from the following data. The class intervals are 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and it continues up to 70 to 80. The corresponding frequencies are 10, 40, 20, 0, 10, 40, 16, 14. Now the first step is to calculate capital N, which is the sum of the frequencies, which is equal to 150. Now, if you observe the frequencies carefully, the value 40 in the frequency column repeats twice. So, the given data is ill-defined. And whenever the distribution is ill-defined, we have to use Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness for mode being ill-defined. And the formula is S equal to 3 into x bar minus m divided by sigma. So for this problem, we have to form the columns fx, fx square and cf. So cf is required to find out the median. And before that, we need to find out x, which are the midpoints of the class intervals. So the midpoints are 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65 and 75. Then calculate fx, which is 50, 600, 500, 0, 450, 2000, 200, 1040, 1050. And so you get summation fx as 5890. Fx square values are 250, 9000, 12,500, 0, 20,250, 1,21,000, 67,600, 78,750, and summation fx square is equal to 3,09,350. In the last column, cumulate the frequencies and the values are 10, 50, 70, 70, 80, 120, 126 and 150. You know that the CF values are correct if the last less than CF matches with capital N, and in this case both are 150. Starting with the solution, right, since the frequency 40 repeats twice, the given data is bimodal, that is ill-defined, and we have to use Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness when mode is ill-defined. So consider S equal to 3 into x bar minus m divided by sigma. Let us now calculate the mean. Consider x bar equal to summation fx by capital N, which is equal to 5890 divided by 150. So you get x bar equal to 39.27. Next is to calculate the median. So for the median, we have already calculated the cumulative frequencies in the table. Now for the median, you find out capital N by 2, which is equal to 150 by 2, which is equal to 75. Now in the CF column, find the value which is greater than 75. It is 80. So next to 80 in the CF column, mark greater than n by 2. Then find out the corresponding class interval, which is the median class. So the median class is 40 to 50. Then use the formula m equal to L plus n by 2 minus C into H divided by F. So where L is equal to 40, C is equal to 70, F is equal to 10 and H equal to 10. Substituting, we get m equal to 40 plus 75 minus 70 into 10 divided by 10. which simplifies to m equal to 45. Next, calculate the standard deviation. So consider sigma equal to root of summation fx square by capital N minus summation fx by n the whole square, which is equal to root of 3,09,350 divided by 150 minus 39.27 the whole square, which is equal to root of 2062.33 minus 1542.1329, which is equal to root of 520.1971, which gives sigma equal to 22.81. Now substituting in Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness formula, when the mode is ill-defined, we get S equal to 3 into 39.27 minus 45 divided by 22.81, or S is equal to minus 0.7536. Then write the conclusion. Since S is equal to minus 0.7536 and this value is less than 0, the given distribution is negatively skewed. Problem 6. Calculate Bowley's coefficient of skewness from the following data. Class intervals are 18 to 20, 20 to 22, 22 to 23, 23 to 24, 24 to 26, 26 to 30, 30 to 35. And the corresponding frequencies are 4, 10, 9, 17, 20, 15 and 5. So problems based on Bowley's coefficient of skewness are 10 markers. Now observe that the class intervals are of different widths. So when you make use of the width of the class interval for a particular formula, be careful because they are not the same, they are varying. Now the first step is to calculate the frequency. So you get capital N is equal to 80. Now you know that for Bowley's coefficient of skewness, we need Q1, Q3 and the median, for which we have to cumulate the frequencies. Cumulating the frequencies, we get 4, 14, 23, 40, 60, 75 and 80. So you see that the last value in the CF column matches with capital N equal to 80. Starting with the solution, first write given capital N is equal to 80. Then Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So consider S equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2m divided by Q3 minus Q1. Now for Q1, we need to find out capital N by 4, which is 80 by 4 equal to 20. The Q1 class. How do we find out the Q1 class? In the CF column, find the value which is greater than 20. It is 23. So next to 23, write greater than N by 4. Then find out the corresponding class interval. So the Q1 class is 22 to 23. Then use the formula Q1 equal to L plus N by 4 minus C into H divided by F. So L is 22, C is 14, H is 1 and F is 9. On substitution and simplification, you get Q1 equal to 22.67. Next, we'll find out the median. So for the median, find out capital N by 2, which is 80 by 2 equal to 40. Now in the CF column, the value which is greater than or equal to 40 should be found. And we see that in the CF column, we have the value 40 itself. So corresponding to it, write equal to N by 2 and then find out the corresponding class interval, which is the median class. So the median class is 23 to 24. Then use the formula m equal to L plus N by 2 minus C into H divided by F. So L is 23, C is also 23, F is 17 and H is 1. Substituting and simplifying, you have to get M as 24. And keep in mind that always, be it the quartiles, the percentiles, deciles or the median and mode, they belong to their respective classes. That is, the median answer should belong to the median class, Q3 answer belongs to the Q3 class and so on. Next, for Q3, find out 3n by 4, which is 3 into 80 by 4 equal to 60. The value which is greater than or equal to 60 in the CF column is 60 itself. So corresponding to 60, write equal to 3n by 4. The class interval is 24 to 26. So the Q3 class is 24 to 26, and use the formula Q3 equal to L plus 3n by 4 minus C into H divided by F. So L is 24, C is 40, H is 2 and F is 20, and the final answer for Q3 is 26. Substituting in S, we get 26 plus 22.67 minus 2 into 24 divided by 26 minus 22.67, which is equal to 0.67 divided by 3.33, or S is equal to 0.2012. Conclusion: since S is equal to 0.2012 is greater than 0, the given distribution is positively skewed. 7. Calculate Bowley's coefficient of skewness from the following data. The class intervals are 40 to 59, 60 to 79, 80 to 89, and it continues up to 140 to 159. The corresponding frequencies are 5, 16, 27, 35, 38, 21, 14, 4. So the first step is to find out capital N, which is equal to 160. And since the class intervals are in the inclusive format, you have to convert them into the exclusive. So form the next column as modified class intervals. So you'll get the values as 39.5 to 59.5, 59.5 to 79.5, and it continues up to 139.5 to 159.5. Now, because we require Q1, Q3 and M, you have to accumulate the frequencies. So it is 5, 21, 48, 83, 121, 142, 156 and 160. You observe that the last value in the CF column matches with capital N, which is also equal to 160. Start with the solution. Write given capital N equal to 160. Then write the formula for Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So consider S equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2M divided by Q3 minus Q1. So for Q1, find out N by 4, which is 160 by 4 equal to 40. So the value which is greater than or equal to N by 4 in the CF column is 48. So corresponding to 48, mark greater than N by 4. So the Q1 class is 79.5 to 89.5. Then use the formula Q1 is equal to L plus N by 4 minus C into H divided by F. So where L is equal to 79.5, C is 21, H is 10 and F is 27. Substituting all the values, you get Q1 equal to 79.5 plus 40 minus 21 by 27 into 10, which is equal to 79.5 plus 190 by 27, which is equal to 79.5 plus 7.04, or Q1 is equal to 86.54. Then for the median, find out capital N by 2, which is 160 divided by 2 equal to 80. The value which is greater than 80 in the CF column is 83. So corresponding to 83, write greater than N by 2. Then the median class will be 89.5 to 99.5. Use the formula M equal to L plus N by 2 minus C into H divided by F, where L is 89.5, C is 48, F is 35 and H is 10. Substituting, we get M equal to 89.5 plus 80 minus 48 into 10 by 35, which is equal to 89.5 plus 320 by 35, which is equal to 89.5 plus 9.1429, or you get M is equal to 98.64. For Q3, we have to calculate 3n by 4, which is 3 into 160 divided by 4, which is equal to 120. The value which is greater than 120 in the CF column is 121. So next to it, mark greater than 3n by 4. So the Q3 class is 99.5 to 109.5. Then use the formula Q3 is equal to L plus 3n by 4 minus C into H divided by F. So L is 99.5, C is 83, H is 10 and F is 38. So Q3 is equal to 99.5 plus 120 minus 83 into 10 by 38, which is equal to 99.5 plus 9.74, or Q3 is equal to 109.74. Now substituting the values of Q1, Q3 and M in Bowley's coefficient of skewness, we get S equal to 109.24 plus 86.54 minus 2 into 98.64 divided by 109.24 minus 86.54, which is equal to minus 1.5 divided by 22.7. So you get S equal to minus 0.0661. Conclusion: since S is equal to minus 0.0661 is less than 0, the given distribution is negatively skewed. Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness and Bowley's coefficient of skewness are very important from the examination point of view. They are 10 markers. So understand the problems well, practice them. Thank you all for watching and look out for my next video where I will discuss the topic kurtosis.